I've been pretty busy out in the shop the last month or so. I'm getting ready for a show here in Rockmart. You've probably heard me talk about it before. It's the annual Homespun Festival. It's held right here in Rockmart. It's the weekend of the 15th. It's that Friday and Saturday. So if any of you want to come down and see the arts and crafts and listen to some good music and good food, come on down to the Homespun Festival, because it'll be going on the weekend of the 15th, that Friday and Saturday. But anyway, one thing that I found that that does pretty well in the arts and crafts shows is pen pots. These little pots that you make that, and they hold your pens, like that. And people use them on their desk or whatever. But they're really kind of easy to make. They're fun, and you can make a little money off of them. But they're good skill builders also. You don't have to hollow very deep to make these, but you still have to go about 4.5 inches. So 4 to 4.5 inches. But anyway, we're going to do that, and I'm going to be showing you a new finishing technique that I've just found out about. And I've got a friend over in the UK. His name is Glenn Senior, and he developed it's a Woodturner's abrasive paste. Is what it is, and it's called Yorkshire grit. Right here, see if you can see that, but it's called Yorkshire grit, and it's got abrasives and oils and stuff like that in it. But anyway, I tried that out, and I really like it. Now, he asked me if I would like to try some of this stuff, and I said, yeah, sure, I'll try it. He did not ask for a video review, but I figure, well, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and go on through and do this, and I'll give my review as I use it, and probably at the end of this video. So I think you're going to like it though. So y'all stand by. We're getting started right now. We're going to make these out of some cedar. Okay, well, starting off, I'm just going to drill out my centers. I've got a 3/16 bit. I'm going to drill the center on both ends. This will just help me get it between my centers. I'm just going to drive in my spur right here, nice and secure. And I use a wooden mallet for that. Then we'll just start roughing this thing out. Just get it down to a cylinder. Remember, your roughing gouge, it's still a gouge, and you need to be rubbing the bevel when you're using a roughing gouge. It makes everything a whole lot easier for you. We just roll on, rough it out good into a cylinder, and then we're gonna start getting ready to put on some tenons. Alright, my pen pot is gonna measure about 4 inches, 4.5 inches. I need 3/8 on each end for the tenons, and then I'll mark the height of my pen pots also. I've got the height of each one, and I've got the tenons marked. And I'll make these pen pots 4 to 4.5 inches. I'll just score everything with my skew before I start cutting, and then I'll just start forming a tenon on each end. This way I can cut it in half. I'll have 2 pen pots out of this one blank. We'll get both tenons formed. I'll just do that first. And then I'll come back with my skew. I'll come back with my skew and I'll square up, make sure the tenons are square to the shoulders. That way I get maximum strength. And then I'm going to start parting. And this is just to mark it good, and I'm going to take it to the bandsaw just to go ahead and cut them on in half. This will give me 2 pin pipes. I just love the look of cedar. It's just some beautiful wood. It's absolutely beautiful. Alright, so then I need to measure my depth, and I've got my little depth gauge set. I'm trying to leave about a 1/4 inch thickness at the bottom, and I'll mark it up here on my drill bit or on my Forstner bit and get ready to bore it out. I'll just bore it up to that mark, and once I get to that mark, I'll be at my right depth, that mark right there. There we go. We are there. Alright, now I'm just going to start shaping on the outside of it. Make sure everything's trued up good. I didn't get something out of whack or anything. But anyway, I'm just going to shape on it and get a nice general shape that I like, that I think would look nice. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to put a little cove down here on the bottom with a bead at the top of the cove. And we'll just kind of arc this out just a little bit. Very nice. I really like turning cedar, but you have to be careful because it is a brittle wood, and it'll split and crack and everything else with you. You know, without any mistakes really being made by yourself. It's just, you know, it's just a very brittle wood, and trying to get fine detail in cedar is pretty tough. Just continuing to refine this shape on down just a little. I'm just using my 1/2 inch bowl gouge to do this with. And square off the top, square off the rim, do that with a skew. And then we'll get ready to hollow it out. I'm starting out with it's a little high-speed steel cutter that James Templeton sent me about 1.5 years ago. And buddy, this thing really gets it done. I shaped it like it's a 1/4 inch, and I shaped it like a round nose scraper, and it's very aggressive. It really removes a lot of wood quickly. So I'll get down really close with it, and once I get close with it, then I'll switch over to a Carbide Scraper. It's a little round Carbide Scraper right here, and I'll show it to you in just a second. And this is just to get everything nice and smoothed up on the inside. Just a 12mm round Carbide scraper, and this will just give me a nice finished inside. This is a shop made tool, you know, from a 1/2 inch bar. It works really well to smooth this surface up. Then I'm going to go over to my 1/2 inch bowl gouge again and just shape the rim. Just shape the rim really nice. And I decided to flare it all the way out to the edge. And, think that's really nice. Yeah, the pins fit. Alright, now getting ready to sand on the inside. This is 60 grit. I've just got this stick. I mounted a piece of foam on it, and I use spray adhesive to get my sandpaper on it good. And sandpaper sticks good, but once you heat it up with a heat gun or a hair dryer, that sandpaper come off and you can change it out. But I like hand sanding beyond 60 grit. So I'm going to hand sand this whole project inside and out, making sure I go back with the grain with every grit. Now the Yorkshire grit that I'm going to be using here in just a minute recommends up to 400 grit, and it says anything beyond 400 is not really necessary. So I'm taking it to 400 grit and just see how it does. I've never used this stuff before. This is the very first time I've used it, so we're gonna see how the directions work also, because with he sent me directions with the can, and I'm gonna go exactly by the instructions. So this will be finished up to 400 grit, or sanded up to 400 grit. Alright. Now, the instructions say to apply sand and sealer of your choice. So that's what I'm doing, is applying sand and sealer. And I always apply sand and sealer until it doesn't take any more. The instructions doesn't say how many coats to put on. So I'm going by what I know, and I put on as many coats as it takes until it stops soaking in. That's really the best way I can. I figure that'll give me the best finish. Alright, and then we'll have to let this cure. Once it's cured, I'm going to start my Yorkshire grit. It says use a small amount and rub it over the entire project evenly without the lathe running. So that's what I'm doing. I lay it on here nice and even, and being sparing, a little bit stingy with the Yorkshire grit, but it actually went a long way. I was surprised at how far it actually went with one on that first coat there. Actually, it's the only coat. Alright, now put the can up, and then with the same part of the paper towel that you were applying it with, you just start rubbing it down at your slowest speed, or he recommends about 400, but my slowest speed is 600. So you just start rubbing it down. And apparently what happens here is this stuff has abrasives in it that continuously break down. So it's the same as like sanding with ever increasing finer grits. So it really turned out nice. This stuff, I guess it works, but as far as breaking down and actually getting a finer and finer cut on it, and it'll pull the paper towel out of your hands if you're not careful. You can really feel this stuff cutting down the sanding sealer and getting it ready for the final coat of wax. But I just continue on and just keep on rubbing this thing down at 400 or at 600 RPMs. 400 what is recommended, and I'm showing you all of it. And this is real time, and I just want you to see how this stuff applies. Now you go back and you remove it as you with a clean paper towel, and you increasingly speed your lathe up as you go, and you're just rubbing it down and basically removing all the Yorkshire grit off of your project. You'll continue on speeding the lathe up, and I got my lathe up to about 1400 RPMs during this project. But you just continue on until there's no residue left on your paper towel. Then once that's done, you'll be ready to finish it up. That really gets that surface ready for wax. I mean, there's no wax on it now, and just look at the shine on it. Okay, I'm using the Minwax paste finishing wax. He says use the wax finish of your choice, and this is my choice. It's what I have here at the shop. I'll just rub it on by hand, and I'll do 2 coats. And just get it rubbed in really well all over the surface. And then we'll have to let this cure up, and then I'll be back in a minute to buff it out. Alright, it's been a few minutes, and now I'm buffing it. I was amazed at how this finish turned out. It was better than my expectations, actually. I normally use a tongue oil and wax finish, just because I like the way that looks at the end. But this right here is just really, really amazing. It just left a really nice shine. Nothing too glossy, but really nice. Look at that. Alright, well, this was after my second coat here of wax. This was my second coat of wax that I'm buffing out now. Let's see how this turns out. Just buff it down. And you don't have to press hard to buff. Just make sure your wax is cured before you start buffing, and then I just lightly rub over the surface with a good clean paper towel, and wow, look at that. That is some amazing stuff. I really like it. I'm glad he sent it to me. He didn't actually ask for a video review, but after I always film a lot of my projects out in the shop, and when I saw how this worked, I knew I wanted to do a review on it, because some people may like this finish and they may want it. So you can find a link to his website in the UK and the United States in the description below. If you like it and would like to try it, I would say look him up. His name's Glenn Sr., but he has a distributor here in the United States also. It really helps with shipping costs and things like that. So, but anyway, let's get this tenon off, and we'll see what it looks like all finished up. Well, all right, there we are. 2 pin pots. From that one piece of cedar that I'd cut down, and look at the finish on that. That is just awesome, amazing finish. The technique is not much different than what I normally do with the tung oil and the wax and stuff like that, but you get a lot more glossier finish using this Yorkshire grit, and I really like that because it doesn't go such high gloss that it looks like a piece of plastic, and it's a little bit more glossier than just what I normally get from my tung oil and wax. But yeah, if you think you like it, I'll leave the website that you can contact. You can contact him for the Yorkshire grit if you're in the UK, and he also has a website for if you want to buy it and you live in the United States. So anyway, I'll leave all of that in the description below, and look into it. You may like it. It's about I just weighed it, and it included the can too. It said about 9 ounces. So this right here says net weight 227 grams. So there's your ounces and there's your grams. But pin pots are awesome, and they're great to use. They're great to sell, and they just look really nice, I think, sitting on a desk with pins and things like that, especially the ones that's made out of wood. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this project. If you like the Yorkshire grit, go to one of these websites and give it a try. I'm sure you're going to see it on my channel again, because I really do like it, and I'm sold on it. I'll probably continue to use it a good bit. But anyway, y'all have a good day, and I will see y'all down the road.